You're watching our State of Disneyland report. We're gonna go through the entire park, do a little park science. I'm gonna share another opinion that is probably getting me in a little bit of trouble. We're gonna eat, we're gonna ride, and we're gonna teach you how to make your Disneyland day just a little bit better. Wow, look at that, you guys. Wow. I'm gonna have to find a way to thread my way through this crowd. I like the looks of that. Wow. All right. People laugh at me whenever I go on about how much I love when it's busy. Hey, how are you? I just like seeing people being happy and glad to be here, you know? Like the energy and the positivity and the idea, let's go to Disneyland. Does that not sound cool? Does that not make you happy? Like that feeling, like I want to go to Disneyland today. That when I see this on Main Street, that's what I'm getting. There you go. This walk down Main Street, by the way, this vibe check is happening at about 11:10 in the morning there on a Monday morning. Beautiful day today. Absolutely beautiful. I think we're gonna be in for a day, you guys. This could happen. We had darn near perfect crowds last State of Disneyland report, if I recall. It was like the equilibrium, the best equilibrium of busy enough for Disney to be, you know, making money and they're happy, and not quite so busy that people are freaked out and feeling stressed out and oppressed by the crowds. And I have a feeling we're going to get something like that today. But first, let's head back to the top of Town Square, Main Street, or back that direction. Take a look at the reservation calendar. Sounds like we're going to get to do this reservation calendar with the Straw Hatters in the background, which is awesome. Love the Straw Hatters. We'll start by looking at the single day ticket calendar, of course, and note that it is a tier 1 day, not tier 0, but tier 1, $126 ticket today. So that's the second cheapest ticket you can buy. So should have some impact on the crowds. You'll note also that tomorrow and Wednesday are tier 0 days, which is interesting. They're suggesting that Mondays are a little bit more popular than Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which actually jives a little bit. People extending their vacation. Let's take a look at the calendar itself. Wide open. No dates are sold out for February and or March, which we won't bother showing you, but that's about what we would have expected. That's what we should be seeing. We'll go next to the SoCal resident 3-day ticket. We had been putting in sort of a warning of sorts in weeks prior that Disney's selling a discounted ticket where you can get an adult ticket for as cheap as $67 per day if you buy a 3-day ticket. It's a pretty good deal. That calendar, that bucket is separate from the regular single-day ticket calendar, which means that you might find dates that are sold out on that calendar, whereas they wouldn't be sold out on the single-day ticket calendar. We had evidence of that. We had shown that initially when this thing first started happening. There were lots of dates that were either sold out or on the verge of selling out. But things look pretty wide open today. So my guess is that A, they're not selling as many as they thought, and they're opening up the coffers a little bit. Or 2, they just want to sell more tickets. they're not happy with what's happening, and they want to sell more. To be expected. That's been happening a lot lately, where Disney has to, you know, kind of constantly. Gosh, that must be exhausting. It really must be exhausting on Disney's part to have to be constantly monitoring how things are going and trying to turn the faucet on or off. I just don't know is that worth it? Like, are they getting? We're having this conversation again. They have to pay somebody to do that. There's a guy out there literally with his finger on a switch, on a dial, literally, because sometimes they forget. You can tell that sometimes they are asleep at the wheel. So they're paying a guy to do this, and I just wonder if it's, you know, worth it. Anyway, let's take a look at the Inspire Key calendar for Magic Keys. And this is about this is about par, really. It's actually kind of worse than I had hoped we would find it at this point in February, because I feel like February we should just be able to go to Disneyland, right? I just feel like we should just be able to go in February. What's the big deal? Let me in. But no, weekends are a bitch right now. Weekends are a bitch. You can see that every Friday, every Saturday, and every Sunday is booked out right now. And then we got 2 Mondays, the 10th and the 17th are also booked out. And the 27th is on the verge of booking out. The only things that's still readily available are those weekdays, which is standard. That's what I mean by standard. It is typical for Disney to try to push guests into the weekdays and away from the weekends. They want the weekends for the single-day ticket holders. Weekdays are for Magic Keys. I have had a heck of a time. I'm trying to. It's. I had a moment last night. We're trying to get a reservation for Liz for the 28th, and I'm like, God, I hate the reservation system.
There you go. All right.
Because we can't book ahead. We can't book ahead because we're using our dates for the current time. I don't have a reservation right now for the first day. At present, I don't have a reservation for the first day of Food and Wine right now. I don't. So I'm just got to hope something happens. But that's February. March is okay. But again, by the time we get to when March rolls around, those Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays will start to book out. So this system is set up to help those guests who are showing up, the Magic Key holders that are showing up, just on the weekends only, or once or twice a month. They're certainly not for the likes of me. They're not for the guest that uses their key. There's a lot of shadow here for the guest that's using their key a lot, like I am. So, and I admit, at this point, I admit that it's not designed for me, and I know that, and I am the outlier. I am the 1%er. I am not the person. They shouldn't be designing the reservation system for me. They should be designing it for people who go less often than I do. I'm just saying it's annoying as all get out. Let's get back in the park. And thus, the story of our Disneyland day today. This Disneyland State of Disneyland report begins. And actually, rather than making your customary trip around the hub, turning right. Oh my God, look what's happening. This just in, FreshBaked made a right into Tomorrowland instead of a left into Adventureland. A couple reasons for that. One, people were like, hey, why don't you try that just once? Just once, see what happens if you turn right and go to Tomorrowland, start your show in that direction. Sounds like fun, but also I'm trying to have lunch at the Troubadour, and I wouldn't get there until about 2 o'clock if I tried to do that in our normal route. So we're going to Tomorrowland first. And to be honest, I don't know if my brain can handle this. I don't know if my brain is going to be able to process how I look at these attractions. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to be checking in, do a little park signs, little queue signs right now. And by the way, that's a lot of guests right there for Lightning Lane for Star Tours, which would be our first stop. It's posted 20, looks pretty brisk. They're just bringing guests. They're going to dump that whole queue, so it's not so bad. That's a lot of guests there on Lightning Lane, but not so bad. That's a light queue. They're going to get all but maybe 20 or 30 of those guests into that station. They're not in detention, so that's a good start. It is, by the way, 11:13 as I record this, so that's about normal, I would say, for Star Tours. If we were to come back here in a couple hours, we'd probably find it maybe a little bit busier. I wonder if I can see in there. Let's see. They brought in. That's the back. Is that the back of Standby right there? They've got 2 queues. There's Lightning Lane coming in on that side. I think they go in on the far right queue there. Yeah, that's Lightning Lane. So there is a. Wow, they are really trying to use most of that queue in there. That's a little bit different. Normally they try to keep everybody out here and not in there. And then they're going to bring in some more. Meanwhile, you've got Astro Orbiter over here posted at 30 minutes. I love to see Astro Orbiter busy. That's one of those attractions that makes me happy that people choose because it's such a classic vintage attraction. It's a spinner, it goes around, Dumbo style ride, and you think nobody's going to pick Astro Orbiter, but lo and behold, they do. 30-minute wait, and that's about right. Middle of that queue is about 30 minutes. Wow, there is something to be said for vintage style attractions like Astro Orbiter. There is something to be said for that. I feel like we've got too caught up in trying to make modern rides, modern attractions. Everything has to be digital or technologically advanced in some capacity or some way. And yet, here at Disneyland, everything just sort of stays. I should say a lot of it stays in that same sort of stuck in time and place. Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Astral Orbiter, Autopia is still drawing crowds. The Matterhorn, you know what I mean? Like, none of those attractions are leaning on technology at all. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. I feel like that's what sets Disney apart from other theme parks. I mean, where other theme parks are trying to stay ahead, Disney's like, you know, we're good. Before we move on, we'll obviously have to look in on our Buzz Lightyear 20-minute wait. One of those attractions that try to be technologically, you know, competent, I guess. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is you can't keep up. Tomorrowland is, you know, this is a microcosm of Tomorrowland, in so much as Tomorrowland was supposed to be, you know, what's the future and all that. They just couldn't keep up with the future. How long before, you know, a ride like Astro Blasters, which was supposed to be, you know, sort of a modern current attraction. Hi guys, good morning. It was supposed to be a modern current attraction. I mean, how long before it became yesterday's news? But never mind that. The queue looks good. It was posted at 20 minutes, and they're not even going out there into, you know, Pixie Hollow back there. They're just making a U-turn right here. So that's a go situation. I would definitely get in that queue as a standby guest. Not a problem. That's going to be a brisk wait. It always looks worse than it is because they got a lot of people. They put a lot of people out here in the exterior queue, and so you can see it all, and it just looks like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get in there, but that's practically nothing. They're going to spend another 5 more minutes in that building. Once they get in there, it's practically nothing. Actually, before we do that, I need to observe something is happening here at Star Tours, where it looked like they were about ready to dump the entire standby queue into the building. Things have backed up badly. As a matter of fact, they need to do some queue maintenance, some chains. And I think that's what that cast member is doing right there, because look at this, the standby queue is now, you don't hardly ever see this. This is bad. This is bad. It looks worse than it is, again, but it's not good for traffic. They need to, yeah, there you go. They just opened the doors back there. They just opened the doors, and they're gonna start sending guests in there, it looks like. Yeah, here we go. So what's more, while things, you know, need attention is being paid. Cast members are on the spot. They're on the job, taking care of things. So in just a matter of minutes, they're going to send a bunch of guests into that direction and ship them around there and take a little pressure off this little choke point right here, because that route in from the hub into Tomorrowland is a major choke point. It gets very narrow right there. The last thing you want is to have, you know, that impacted by these guests out here. And that adjustment should be accompanied by an uptick on the standby from 20 minutes to at least 25, maybe 30. It still says 20 now, but I figured they'll change that soon, and there it goes. And there you go, in a matter of about, let's see, it's been 1 minute and 20 seconds. And the back of the queue is now inside the threshold of those chains right there. Well done, guys, well done. Tell you what, I am really struggling with, I'm struggling with what to do next, because we went right instead of left. My whole rhythm is gone, so hopefully this show is enjoyable nonetheless. But we're gonna keep heading deeper into Tomorrowland. I guess Space Mountain is next. We've got a posted 50 minutes here. We're catching this at a much different time of day, so I'll be curious to see how that, if it reflects in the queue that we find. Let's see. A little bit of action over there in Lightning Lane. Standby. Why does it feel light right now? Something's, oh, that's what it is. The big walls are gone here. I didn't even check that in our last construction update. This, whatever this thing is what they were installing. Okay, this is tripping me out right now. There have been walls up here for months and months, walls up there, and I'm like, why does this image look cleaner than it used to? Oh my God, it's like a brand new Space Mountain. Wow. That reminds me of something I wanted to talk about today. We're gonna get to that. Stay tuned, because I have some thoughts, something that's gonna people may disagree with, it may trouble some folks, but this is really, I'm passionate about this. But first, we got to finish up this Space Mountain recon. And here we are in the interior queue, the extended interior queue. So, boy, yeah, I'm gonna say 50 is probably about right. I got to figure that's, 15 there, maybe 10 there, so 25. All right, and then another 10 to that stretch, 35, and then 15 more on the inside. Yeah, that's a good solid 50 minutes. I'm always impressed with the hardiness of Disney guests when it comes to Space Mountain. They will just get in whatever queue. They'll do whatever is necessary to ride Space Mountain, and I really respect that. I respect that of Disneyland guests quite a bit. At any rate, recently in our construction reports, we were following the progress of these things, the new light fixtures that they installed, which are interesting looking. I don't know how necessary they were. Nobody was asking for updated light fixtures here. I mean, I feel like the place was pretty well lit as it was, but yeah, they replaced every single light fixture out here, and then they built whatever this, they kind of extended that thing. I don't know if this was here before now, I can't even remember, but they did all this, and I thought it was cool that they did. Mostly because they didn't have to, right? They didn't have to do that. There was nobody out there saying, "Hey, Disney, can you please address the issue with lighting out in the Space Mountain upper deck?" Right? But they did that, and then I remembered that they also fixed the blue lights in the tunnel, a feature that had been broken for a long time. And everybody was like, "Disney, come on, can you fix those blue lights, please?" And they did. And I mentioned that because recently, the thing came up with Rise of the Resistance, which we'll talk about in a little bit when we get there eventually. But they fixed the cannons at Rise of the Resistance. I'm here to say thank you. I'm here to give credit to Disney for doing those things. And with the Rise issue, they said, gosh, they should have fixed that 4 years ago. Well, maybe so. But it's, but they're using that as a reason to not like Disney. There's a reason to complain about Disneyland because it took them 4 years to fix the cannons. But that didn't happen. That's not the only thing that they could or could not have done. It's not like cannons or bust. I don't know if this is making any sense. While they weren't fixing the cannons, they were doing a heck of a lot of other things. They have been very busy around this park fixing a lot of things that were lost and now they are found. Things like the blue lights at Space Mountain. I guess what I'm saying is thank you. And I maybe we shouldn't be celebrating fixing things that are broken. And maybe, hi. Hi guys. Maybe we shouldn't be celebrating fixing things that are broken, but you know what? I am. And I don't mind. I don't feel bad about that at all. We'll talk about that more later on as things come up. But let me just say that up front. I am that guy who is happy and thankful and grateful. Things break. And sometimes that's harder. I'm just going to go. Star Tours. There are so many components of Star Tours that probably could never be fixed if they were broken because that attraction was built with parts that don't exist anymore. So Matterhorn, guys, the Matterhorn can't. Well, I don't know. It's rough. The Matterhorn is rough, and whatever they can do to keep that thing running, I am grateful for it. Now I don't know if Matterhorn is a proper one-to-one relationship with what's happening at Rise, but it is not as easy. At least I don't believe it to be the case. It is not as easy as you might think to fix a cannon or to fix a blue light or what have you. We're at Galactic Grill. Change of plans, guys. We're having lunch right here at the Galactic Grill. I was going to have lunch at the Troubadour, but they don't have the food that I was hoping for. But I did notice that they've got something new on the menu here at Galactic Grill. Not new to the park, but new here, and we're going to give that a shot. So rather than trying that new food at Troubadour, we're going to be trying a new arrival here at Galactic Grill, something they serve elsewhere in the parks, but for some reason they have moved. The Galaxy Fish and Chips. Somehow fish and chips have moved to the Galaxy. They've left the Golden Horseshoe and Stage Door Cafe. It's fried rockfish and malt seasoned steak fries served with house-made tartar sauce. Malt seasoned steak fries is great because the fries here at Galactic Grill suck. They are terrible, they are not good, they are the worst version of fries that I can find. I'm curious, Miguel and Janelle at Magic Journeys tried these, they said they were different. They were good, they were Great even. They really enjoyed the fish and chips, so I'm going to give them a shot. I was going to pass because it's got to be the same. They look like they're prepared a little bit differently as well, but here you go. Cheers, FreshBaked. So far, kind of standard, I have to say. A couple things. You got to make sure you get some lemon juice on there. That always helps. The variables are the creaminess of the fish itself. Sometimes it's, I don't know if it's undercooked or what, but I like it to have a little bit of body, a little bit of crunch, a little bit of texture to the fish itself, not just the breading, the fried part, but the fish itself. So sometimes it's a little too mushy for me. That first bite was a little bit mushy. Second one was pretty good. And then of course the tartar sauce is always a variable, and that's kind of what makes fish and chips typically for me. It is usually the tartar sauce. This is pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. The fish is a little flaky, which is good. I like that. I like the flaky fish. Yeah, that's pretty enjoyable. I'm digging it. Let's try those malt seasoned steak fries next. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I kind of knew it was going to happen, and of course, I don't know where they get malt seasoned. I'm not tasting any malt. They just taste like steak fries to me, but they're good. They're better than the regular French fries they serve here. I just can't say it enough. They're not very good. Yeah, cheers to that. Now, those fish and chips, by the way, are $14.99. It's 3 pieces for $14.99 plus the fries. It's probably a fair price. It's about the same as a burger. I'm probably not going to finish. I probably will eat 2, maybe 2.5 pieces of those fish and chips, which for me is sometimes how I measure these things. If I can finish a meal and then judge the price based on that, then I really, really know. But I don't have the same size stomach as other people. But it's not a bad deal, and it's obviously it's a nice, comfortable choice for those who are not sure what to get. Kind of like chicken strips or a cheeseburger. Fish and chips are an easy choice. Now, we have one final thing that I've been looking to try since I saw the new 2025 menu. We mentioned this in the video we did where we did a complete tour of all the new foods that are coming around for this year, for 2025. Lots of new standard menu items are appearing on the menu. And here at Galactic Grill, we have strawberry flavored smoothies served with an oat milk. Ooh, that's interesting. Pineapple coconut cream and garnished with a pineapple wedge. I love smoothies. I love coconut flavors. And this looked beautiful to me with the garnish with the pineapple potato. I've been really looking forward to this. I have been trying to find an excuse to come here to do this, so I guess we found it with the fish and chips. That's dangerous. That's a lot, by the way. For $8, that's a lot. It may be difficult to finish this as well, especially considering how cold it is. It's icy cold, obviously. But the strawberry smoothie element is present. The coconut is present, and not just the taste. There are chunks of something. I think that might be chunks of pineapple, though. But oh my God. You get that at the bottom. That's the best part right there. I almost don't want to. I got in trouble for not mixing my drinks in that 2025 video. I promise I won't do that again. But I don't want to stir this too much because I would like to get that by itself. But obviously you can get into that. That right there is a reason to come to Galactic Grill. Oh my God. I'm losing my mind. Get the strawberry pineapple smoothie at Galactic Grill. 10 out of 10, A+. I'm gonna try to finish these fish and chips now, and then we'll get back on the road. Okay, so lunch at Galactic Grill is complete. Leaving us right here, right next door is Autopia. Again, I'm feeling weird because usually these are the attractions that I'm doing last, and now I'm doing these first. And so the script is completely flipped on the visuals and how things I'm expecting them to look. I'm having trouble reconciling. But in the end, the park science is park science. It shouldn't matter. And we should find, let's see, okay, I see a posted 20-minute wait time and a very brisk looking queue up there. My goodness, not at all. It's just space and movement and hardly any guests up there. Let's see, I can't tell if they're in the rotunda. I think there are guests up there. Yeah, they are sending guests into the rotunda, so there's a little bit, that's about 7 or 8 minutes in there. But just the one row of guests, this is looking pretty good. Meanwhile, all 4 lanes seem to be working out here. So this is a definite go situation at Autopia. If you are at all interested, now's the time. It is now 1:15 in the afternoon, and this is a time of day that I do recommend hitting Autopia. This is the time to do it. Anytime afternoon or so, it's a good time. Next stop is Nemo's Submarine Voyage, and look at that queue. Wow. Ain't nothing happening here at Nemo. That's barely that's barely 2 rotations. That's not even 2 rotations. Maybe 1.5, and by rotation I mean the back of this queue is gonna be in the second boat from now. There's a boat worth of guests in there now, and then at the mix point there's another boat's worth of guests, and then yeah, so you're in the, well, okay, so third boat. if you count the folks that are already queued up for the next boat, you're 3 boats away, which is about 15 minutes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And by the way, also, we may have a clue as to why we're seeing a short day. The park will be closing early tonight. It's a Sweethearts night, and it is often the case that the park will be slower during the day on a after dark event night, because people just choose, you know what, if I have to leave at 6, then I'm just not going to go at all. So this is actually for those guests who are looking for a discount in terms of how busy it is in the park, not a discounted price, but if a less crowded day, find a day that is an after dark event. Sweethearts night, Star Wars night, the upcoming, what is it, they're doing 90s night or something, and then just come from 8 to 6, if that's okay with you. Like, not everybody can do bell to bell anyway, right? I can't do bell to bell. So I would absolutely, if I thought I was coming, for a single day, I would absolutely choose one of these days and go from 8 to 6. And what you get is a Nemo cube that looks like this. This to me is always, it's always beautiful, because when you see Nemo, if you see guests out here in Nemo in this part of the queue, oy oy oy, that's a run and hide and go find something else to do. Like the Matterhorn, which we can hear. It's always good when you can hear the Matterhorn, then you know it's operating. When you hear the wind, they turn the wind off when the attraction goes down. They turn off the wind and they turn off the Yeti or whatever he is, Harold. And so it's silent here when the ride is broken down. So when you can hear the Yeti and you can hear the wind, then you know you're good. So it looks like we're going to be coming around from the opposite direction on Matterhorn as well. And look at, normally this is where we find the back of the queue right here. Normally the back of the queue, when we hit the Matterhorn at 3 o'clock, 3:30, it's out here in extended 3. That's extended 3 right there. That's extended 2. See this chain right here? That chain. Extended 3, extended 2, and then this chain right here separates extended 2 from extended 1. They're not even in. Oh my God! They're making a U-turn at the pole, at the light pole. That's great. That's a go. This whole park is a go right now, isn't it? Looking good. Tree lamp is empty, so I'm gonna say you're looking at maybe 30 minutes, real time. It'll probably be posted something a little higher than that, but I'd be shocked if this took 30 minutes. And also, it looks like Lightning Lane is completely empty. I would be super shocked if this took more than 30 minutes at this point. Completely empty Lightning Lane. None of the extended queues are being used, or tree lamp. Yeah, they've got it at 40 minutes, but it's not. It's absolutely half of that, for sure. It's making me wish I wasn't shooting a State of Disneyland report right now, and I was here with the rest of you, with the rest of these crowds, enjoying a Disneyland day. I would love to be getting into that Matterhorn queue right now and thinking, gosh, what a victory. What a victory we're having. This is great. But I'm doing State of Disneyland report. I'm working. What are you gonna do?
I think that's good.
Small World is still closed. We'll be reopening. Hey, there's Pinocchio. We'll be reopening in the spring, probably end of April. Gonna pop in real quick to the Fantasyland Theater. I mentioned Troubadour Tavern as my destination for lunch today. I had hoped to. I thought they were already serving the seasonal offerings for the Celebrate Gospel event that was just coming to the theater soon, but they were not. But coming soon, they're gonna have like a fried chicken, baked mac and cheese, and collard greens dish here that I was just drooling over, and I wanted to have that today, but we're not. But there are some other dishes there that are being served as part of the. They brought them back from Pixar Fest, but there's a whole new menu like throughout the park. There's all kinds of new stuff that you can get for 2025. Not seasonal. It's part of the regular menu. This is one of those locations. Check out our video. There should be a link up there, hopefully. Check out our video for the 2025 new foods coming to Disneyland, and those foods will be here for, I gotta think, at least until the 70th begins. Good gravy, is it busy here at Toontown, man? Wow, it's happening. We'll start with Roger Rabbit. Start with Roger Rabbit. Probably gonna have a very similar story to what we typically see. It's posted 50 right now. Ooh, look at that. That's what you like to see. There's nobody in Lightning Lane right now. So now we just gotta find the back of the queue. Posted 50, and I think I did already find it. Did I? Is it truly that busy? Yes. Oh my gosh. We didn't even get to the bouncer. We did. Boy, Toontown. My goodness. We didn't even get to the bouncer up there. Dollars to Donuts says Runaway Railway though will be significantly better, both in terms of show and the expected wait time. Runaway Railway is an amazing show. Well, hi guys. How are you? Hi guys. Posted 30 right there. Did we find the back of this queue already too though? We sure did. Although I have stayed, I was in this exact queue nearly last week, and it was right at 30 minutes or so. Although it doesn't look quite as breezy as the queue that we were in. So it was, that could be, they might need to upgrade that time out there to maybe 35 or 40. It's incredible how both Toontown and Fantasyland, no matter how slow or busy the rest of the park is, these two lands stay pretty level. They're like almost always the same level. When it's a slow day out in the rest of the park, it'll be busier here at Toontown than it is elsewhere. But if it's a really intense day out in the rest of the park, it is often the case that it's kind of still, I mean, it's always busy here, but it doesn't get exponentially more busy on a super busy day. There are, and this is the case in a lot of ways at Disneyland, there are, what's the word looking for? Self-regulating. Guests tend to just go take the path of least resistance. There's a maximum that they're willing to tolerate here, which is which you would think would be pretty standard, pretty common, but that is not the case. I see it even other theme parks. Knott's Berry Farm, Universal, Walt Disney World. The expectation or their willingness to wait extreme amounts of times is different in those parks than it is here. It's very strange at Disneyland. People will tolerate significantly less here at Disneyland than they will anywhere else. Like, it's easy to find a 2-hour wait. Go to Knott's Berry Farm, you can find 2-hour waits everywhere. You don't find any here at Disneyland. Now, part of that is the fact that, or is attributable to the fact that they're much more efficient here. They're better operationally. But it's also people they won't do it. They'll just find something else to do until they find something that is within their tolerance. Minnie, 30 minutes, same queue, every time. Literally, every time. Mickey's house, 15 minutes. Wow, that suggests that we could walk through the whole house. That's telling me they're telling me that we can walk through the whole house. Switch to a more low light lens with this Pocket 3. And we'll see how true that is already. It's practically empty here. This is kind of shocking. Usually I have a much harder time wading through that part of the house. We did find some guests, but it's not a queue. Yeah, it's empty. Completely empty.
He's grown carrots and cabbages and turnips. It's a good house and good garden. Music and potatoes. His cookie cup and axe. Birthday cake and chicken.
Oh my god. It's so cute. Okay, yeah, the house is completely empty. This is the emptiest I think I've ever seen it in my life. How is this possible? It was bonkers out there in Toontown, but it's almost completely empty in here. And that's the 15 minutes right there. That's all the guests that they've reached it. Yeah. And I'm not even exaggerating. That is literally, I've never walked through the house, Mickey's house, and seen just 3 guests. Just that one little family right there. Never. I mean, obviously, it's maybe on a rainy, I don't know, man. I can't even think of a single situation where I've encountered anything like that. That was unexpected. Especially considering how bonkers it is out here. You've got a 30 to 40 minute wait at Runaway Railway, an hour at Roger Rabbit, and 40 minutes I'm guessing here at Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. I said the whole name. I can't believe it. There's the back of the queue right there. Yeah, Chip. Is that Chip? Yeah, Chip is usually about 35-40 minutes at that point right there. Wow. And speaking of Fantasyland, let's go there next. Pretty standard looking queue over there at Storybook Land. That's about 20 minutes. Teacups. What a delight. Seriously though, what are you gonna say? When do you say, hey, don't get in that teacups queue, it's way too busy? Never in my life have I ever said that. No, it's nothing. It's 2 rotations there, 10 minutes. That's why I love Fantasyland so much, because there's so little to say no to here. Plus you're just surrounded by magic, man. You're surrounded by just this kinetic energy of fantasy and fun and good times, the music, I don't know, it's just perfect. I love Fantasyland. Then there's Alice, and what could look like a busy queue, but it's really not. Anything inside that sign is a definite win. But there's rarely an occasion where I will say no to this attraction. Well, it's posted 30, but it's 20 from there. 20 from here even. Actually, let me take that back. It's 20, yeah. So you're looking at maybe 15 minutes there. No problem whatsoever. On our way into the rest of Fantasyland, let me take this opportunity to ask if you are feeling the desire, the wish to make a trip, to make a plan to go to Disneyland soon. Please do consider using our travel affiliate, GetAwayToday. There's a link in the description. They are our preferred travel advisor. They book all of our trips, and they are great at their jobs. We love them. They are fans of the show as well. Go through GetAwayToday, and they will help you plan your vacation, get your tickets and all that, make your hotel reservations, everything. And they know just about everything there is to know about going to any Disney park and more. So, link in the description. Use GetAwayToday. Hope you guys have a great trip. And just as we found at Toontown, we're finding something similar. Oh, look at that. Never mind, there's a little pocket right here. I found a pocket. But it's pretty hectic here in Fantasyland. Like we found at Toontown. Dumbo, 35 minutes posted. It's not though. It is not 35 minutes. 35 minutes in this whole rear queue back here would be full. Like completely full, packed. But they're using just one chain right here. So you're looking at something closer to 20-25 minutes, I would think. But anytime you can get away from using this back session back there, that's a total win. That's a definite go situation for Dumbo. I'd get in this queue though. I would. I'd also get into this Casey Jr. queue if they're running 2 trains, which they typically do these days after about 11 a.m., maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m. They'll run 2 trains. They'll have one in the house, and there should be another one out there somewhere if there are 2, which I will have to retract, because if there were 2, we would see the other one. It would be waiting over there by the quilt. So they are running just 1 train. That's perhaps why we saw such a long queue there. Normally that queue isn't as long as we found or saw when we approached the loading area. So something's up. We've lost our 2nd train again. For those of you familiar with this show, for those of you who've been around a while, you know how deeply connected I am to Casey Jr., and it hurts when it's just the 1 train, because it makes it less likely for me to enjoy it, because it takes twice as long now. It takes twice as long. Put that 2nd train out there, there's not a queue I'm ever afraid of at Casey Jr. Pinocchio, standard, actually a little longer than standard. It's interesting because the queues here are, the Dumbo queue is a little longer than usual, Casey a little longer, Pinocchio was a little longer than usual, not a lot, but more so. Hey, how are you? More so than you might normally find, but it's not very busy in the streets. I don't feel particularly, crowded here walking through Fantasyland. Snow White's light. That is posted at 10 minutes, and that's about right. If you can get into the dungeon there as you're at the back of the queue at the dungeon, yeah, you're looking pretty good. I don't know if I'd call it 10, but it's going to be close to that. It's like you. Hi. Wow, look at Peter Pan. Okay, so we just have to. So Pinocchio is busier than usual, and Casey, but not Peter Pan. This is light. Just having this section out here is a great start. The outer chain not being used. And I would guess these 3 right here. I had a name for this section and now I forgot it. But these 4 chains are also empty. They're calling it 30. I would say it's going to be a little bit under that, maybe 20, 25 minutes. One more stop here in Fantasyland. That's Toad's Wild Ride. Mr. Again, just never a no for me. Never a no. There's not much to analyze here. It looks like it always does. They're calling it 20 minutes. The queue looks fine. It's going to move. It's going to be a breeze. And you're going to ride the oldest attraction at Disneyland. God bless Mr. Toad. Thank God that it's still here, that we still have this attraction to enjoy. It's a true blessing. Interesting. Do you know what we're not hearing right there? We're hearing only the sound effects, but no transition music. Oh, that was weird. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's going to the top of my list of things that Disney needs to fix. My goodness. Not having that transition music right there, that hurts my soul. But I have a cure for what ails me. Wait. It's not cowbell. It's not cowbell.
And that's a Tatooine sunset. Let's look at that tip board while we're drinking this at Docking Bay 7. Alice in Wonderland is 20 minutes standard. We've actually seen way more of the park today at this point in the show where we're doing a tip board. Normally we do this a lot earlier in the show. Astro Orbiter 25, hanging in there. Autopia still at 20. Return time at 30 minutes. Big Thunder 30. I'd like to see that. Buzz Lightyear 25, that's about where we left it before. I mean, we've only, normally what have we seen? We've seen Jungle Cruise, Indy, Pirates, Tiana's, and Haunted Mansion at this point, and Rise, 6 attractions. We've probably seen double that. Casey Jr.'s at 25. Man, they're running one train. I got to look into that. That's really breaking my heart that it's just running one train. I remember how excited I was when they brought that second train back. It makes all the difference. Now it's a 25-minute wait. Gadgets, 30. Dumbo at 35, but that's probably not quite. It's more, I think that was like 20, 25 minutes that we saw. Finding Nemo has doubled. It was super light when we went by there earlier today. Now at 35 minutes, the day is wearing on a little bit, and I think that could be, we're seeing the reverse effect of what we might normally find. Haunted Mansion, 45. I mean, that's been steady. That's been steady at 45 for a while. Return time, though, of just, what, a little over an hour, 3:55? They're not selling a lot of Lightning Lane today. But it makes sense. Why would you sell a lot of Lightning Lane if standby waits are not so bad? That's why they want you to buy it in advance. They want you to buy it with your ticket. They desperately want you to do that because then you can't undo it. You can't unsell it at that point. You can't change your mind. It's like, why did I get that? I'm here, it's dead. I don't need Lightning Lane, right? But if you get here and you can make that choice first, you can look at the park and say, okay, this isn't too bad. I don't think we need to buy Lightning Lane today. They don't want that. They'd rather you buy it in advance. Don't buy Lightning Lane in advance. I think they give you a little bit of it. Do they give you a discount? Oh my God, I gotta look into that. I should know that answer. I wanna say there's a bit of a discount if you buy it with your ticket. But if there's not, then absolutely don't wait. I know the parking, there's no discount. They try to sell you parking with your ticket also, which I find hilarious. Anyway, back to work. Indiana Jones, 40 minutes. Not bad. Now that's something you should, God, I'll never understand this. If you watch this show, you would know you don't need, that is the most popular Lightning Lane. Let me see, well, we'll get to Space Mountain in a minute. But 5 hours. Guys, you save this right now. If you jumped into Lightning Lane, you're gonna save about 10 minutes. That's your savings, because most of that queue is spent inside. Most of your wait is inside after you've mixed already, after you've joined with standby. Jungle Cruise is 30, Mad Tea Party 10, Winnie the Pooh 15, Bobsled's at 50. We saw a very light queue. We're thinking 20 minutes. They bumped it up since then. I find that hard to believe. Return time in just under 2 hours. Runaway Railway 45. Look at that, they jumped Mickey's house. I don't normally look at this, but we saw it at 15 minutes. We walked straight through. There was what, 3 guests in the entire queue at Mickey's house. Now they've got it at 45 minutes. Wow, how things change, right? Smugglers Run, 20 minutes. We haven't checked on that yet. We walked by it on our way here. Toads is 20, Peter Pan 25, Pinocchio 15, Pirates at 30. We haven't got there yet. Roger Rabbit is down to 40, good for them. Return time in just an hour and a half. Snow White is 10, 40. Okay, so there's the more popular Lightning Lane. That I get. You save all the time on Space Mountain. When they mix you with standby, it's almost all the way to the end. It's right there in that last hallway, and then you're in that, you know, the loading area there. You save a bunch of time when you use Lightning Lane at Space Mountain, but not so much at Indy. So that doesn't make any sense. But 40-minute standby is pretty good. Star Tours 15, walk on practically. Return time of now. Rise at 45. I have more. Going back to that conversation we had at Space Mountain, I want to talk more about that. 45 minutes, and then at return time of now, basically. Storybook Land 20. Tiana's 45. Not bad. Not bad. Return time in 3 hours. Take care. Now, let's go check in on Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run, where we saw an unbelievably low 20-minute standby. I'm tempted. Very much I'm tempted. And I also just saw something on socials that said that the Hondo animatronic isn't working right now. Is that right? Is Hondo not working? Let's see if we're too late. It's been 20 minutes for a little while, and that is definitely an invitation, a call to action.
Okay. So far, so good. Looks real quiet up there. I can see the back of the queue up there. Just before you make that left. See the windows.
Full power-up sequence!
That's very promising.
If this doesn't explode, I'll consider us lucky.
More promising.
Proceed!
Is that there's nobody in Lightning Lane, just those two guests right there. But you can see up this ramp, there's nobody blocking our way. There's the back of the queue right there. I think I'm going to take a flyer on this queue right now. I'm very curious just to see if it is 20 minutes, first of all. I like doing tests when I can, but also I'm really curious to see about this Hondo thing. I wanted to see if we have another Tiana situation. What is the backup? What is B mode for Hondo? Do they cover him up? And there's no video you can refer to, is there? 5 minutes so far, which feels like it's been kind of going slow. I just peeked over the wall there. There's nobody in Lightning Lane still. But we kind of just been creeping along. It's going on 6 minutes now. And we've still got 4 or 5 minutes left to go. There they go. Those are Lightning Lane guests right there. Essentially, I wonder if I can see the loading on the left side. There goes standby. Standby also going on. Are they going on both sides? I can't tell. Still sending them to the left. If they're down, Hondo room, that would slow things down a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's right hand side. We are now at 7 minutes. Here we go. We are at 12:32 into the Hondo room. Okay, he's working.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome. What a fine looking group of fine professionals.
All systems go here.
But without the bounty on your heads. Recognize a few of you. You've flown for me before. I can't believe you made it. We better go before he changes his mind. Move along, my friends. Listen carefully and remember, the better you work together, the more you earn. 70-25.
Good shape. That's good shape. And 17 minutes to our assignments. Flight crew bronze. Keep an ear out. Make sure we don't miss our assignment. We'll be engineers again, as usual. Always an engineer. And there we go. We're good to go. So almost 20 minutes exactly. Well done, Disney.
Welcome. Right this way, my friends. Come closer. Pilot on the left. Move your sticks to fly right and left. I was just about to say that. Pilot on the right. Hey, weapons are online. Left pilot. Hit the booster. Left main. Yes, keep shooting. Well, my friends, that could have been much worse. Okay, it's much worse. Woo! Line up behind the train so we can harpoon that last car. Gunners, shoot the train. Stewie will pilot us in remote. You retrieve 2 containers of coaxium. This will greatly help the resistance.
Pirate rank. We got a lot of good.
All available techs, we have a Corellian freighter that needs immediate transport back to the maintenance bay.
That was pretty good, actually. We got 2 canisters, which hardly ever get. We usually only get 1. I wish there was some way to get 3. If they could just find a way to make the game a little bit harder, it's too easy. But basically, you get 1 or you get 2. Anyway, pretty good crew. Exit this way. Good crew, good pilot. I was 100% on my engineering duties, as usual. That went okay.
Let's go to Rise of the Resistance next, I guess. I got some things to talk about there.
And I arrived here at Rise of the Resistance just a few minutes ago, and the attraction was up, posting about that 45-minute wait time. I paused for a minute, turned around, and it's closed. Rise just went down. So we can't do an analysis of the standby queue, but I mean, you can see where it was. Let's see, because they haven't kicked the queue out yet. It only just happened. Section 1 is full, of course. Section 2 as well. And they're peeking over there into Section 3 a little bit, so it's kind of busy. Probably would have been close to or all of that 45 minutes, maybe more. I can't tell what the time was, but that's neither here nor there. What I want to talk about, obviously, is the cannons. We did a post on Instagram. The cannons work. That was as of Friday. Friday morning they started working. Just had our construction report come out on Monday. That was our lead story on that as well. Cannons are working. This relates to the conversation we were having at Space Mountain regarding the blue lights in the tunnel. And I'm very excited. I'm very happy and grateful that all those things are working. But again, I want to speak to, I guess the expectation, which actually is what? What is the expectation, FreshBaked? What is the expectation? This actually pivots again with the conversation we had a month ago, right? Regarding Tiana's. Was that a month ago? She's still not working, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what is the expectation? What is the allowable amount of time before you start going, hey, this is not good? I mean, obviously 4 years is probably in that range. I'm not gonna lie. 4, maybe even 5. I don't even know. How long the cannons not work? But we'll call it 4. That's within the allowable expectation of, yeah, maybe it should be working by now. But even having said that, let me get myself centered again. I'm still happy. The best way I could put it is, if the best time to fix the cannons was a couple years ago, or whatever, the second best time is now. Guys, otherwise, what if that's not correct, then we're negotiating at that point. What is the correct amount of time before you go from upset to happy? But for me, it's like it was either then, okay, we didn't do it then let's do it now. And that's pretty much where I fall on that conversation. So, if you can't be happy that they fixed it today, then maybe you don't want to be. You know what I mean? Like maybe you just want to be upset, and maybe you would rather they just not fix it. I guess that's where I fall on things. I just prefer. I like being happy. That's just my thing. And there you go. So we leave Galaxy's Edge. At least we get the transition music here. Didn't get this at the Fantasyland entrance. Let's go through. Normally we cut through Hungry Bear on our way into Galaxy's Edge. Let's cut into Hungry Bear today. Taking these rear steps into the rear dining area. Nice and quiet back here for show. I dig it. This is a wonderful, wonderful, delightfully chill place to eat. Something I mentioned in our walking tour of the Park for Beginners video. If you have one choice to eat while you're at Disneyland, you want to get the most Disneyland experience you can get, this might be it. This might be it. I'd say Plaza Inn, Tiana's maybe. Standby's not too bad. It's actually kind of short, although we're off peak right now. 3:34 as we arrive here at Bayou Country. Oh, look at that queue back there. Oh my. We were here early this morning, walked on, 5-minute wait at about 9 o'clock, but that's not a 5-minute wait right now. Wow. It's wowing at both the size of the queue. It's at 65 minutes, which, I mean, that's still pretty high, I feel. But also the fact that they've got it outside. They've got it outside of the pen, outside of the queue proper. They don't have the guests inside the actual queue. They have it back there in the garden. The garden is occupied. But this section down here, you know, the part that runs along the mountain is not being used, and instead they're running a rope alongside it. This can't be plan A. There has to be some not good reason why they're doing this. Something has to be not right with the queue over there. I just can't believe that they would do that. Because this place is already a pinch point, which, by the way, hi, thank you. By the way, they're back to parking strollers out here, so that's pinching it even more. But it gets very narrow here, and you don't want to compound that by having those guests out there in the walkway. So right there, it's really narrow. It's just surprising to me that they would make that choice if there isn't a good reason. And by that I mean there's some kind of repair that needs to be done. Every now and then it happens where you just get sudden things just happen, and you're like, oh gosh, we need to fix that. I'm hoping that's what it is. We'll keep an eye on this in our construction report and figure out what's going on there, but or try to find out from other sources perhaps if there's a reason for that. But that is really surprising. As for the queue itself, it does not look to be moving very briskly. I will say that. They look a little parked inside the garden there. They look a little parked out here on our second lap walking by this. I don't see a lot of movement here. This is a very sticky looking queue. But as we've mentioned in previous construction reports and today, you know, try to get this. You want to hit this one early if you can. Obviously, that's true for a lot of attractions. But these ones that get really impacted like this, like Tiana's or Space Mountain, Indiana Jones, you know, the earlier you can get in there, the better. As for Tiana herself, I rode this morning, and she was still, you know, you can see she's singing. You can tell she's singing, but the rest of her body's not moving at all. Not a good look. Doesn't look good. But again, I'm not concerned yet. It's too early for me to be concerned. It's only been a couple months now, I think, and I feel like this is one of those situations that's going to be fixed. It's going to be taken care of. And then what are you going to do? What are they going to talk about when Tiana's gets fixed, and they fix the blue lights at Space Mountain, and they fix the cannons at Rise of Resistance? What are people going to complain about? Tom Sawyer's Island? I mean, I will. I'll complain about Tom Sawyer's Island. But apart from that story, no let up, it would seem, or little let up at least, at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This is still very high demand. People are still very interested, and this is without, I don't think they've had any breakdowns today. Yep, confirmed, no breakdowns today, but I can also confirm that it looks like things started to get a little crazy right about 10:30, 11 o'clock, so you have a chance. You have a chance if you get here, you know, before noon. At noon, I'm looking at, by the way, this is a graph that I get from Theme Park IQ. It's at around noon that time starting to get to 50 minutes. So right now, if you're getting here in the morning, you got a pretty good chance of having a clean ride. But I do really like seeing no breakdowns on this graph today. And then I'm walking by Winnie the Pooh, and this is affecting. I feel like this is affecting. Look at this queue; it's sticking out now. They were not ready for this. The back of the, I don't even know where the back of the queue is. I think it's at the top of the hill. Where is it? Yeah, this is it right here. My goodness. There's the back of the queue right there. That is, look at this scene right here, you guys. Just in general. Bayou Country. But the reason why I know they weren't ready for this, I'll show you, is because they haven't started working into this little overflow, this little peninsula out here. They have not sent, the queue is ready, it's available for guests, but they haven't done any rope maintenance. All those guests should be in this little pen right here. Wow, I love to see Winnie the Pooh getting this much love though. But we could stand by here for a minute, and a cast member will probably be handling this anytime now. And it wasn't even 10 seconds before I turned around. And there she goes. She's got that rope coming. She's like, this way, folks, this way. And right now it's just gonna make a quick U-turn here. That's for now. She's gonna do that real quick. And then she's probably gonna adjust that again to send them down this way. She'll come back here, take that rope down. And then there she goes. Oh nope, she's gonna keep that locked for now. So just a little bit of maintenance. But they could fill that up. They could fill that up with what was out there, out in the streets on that side, easily. Once more though, high five cast members. They're literally the best. You know, like, I will not take any slander, any cast member slander on this channel, in the comments, anywhere. People talk about having a bad experience with cast members. You might have, but they're still the best. They're still the absolute best, and I will just give them every single benefit of every single doubt every single time. Cast members here at Disneyland are the best in the business. Number one, nobody comes close. Nobody. Might as well add, I still don't know what they're doing with this little section of trail. And they've actually modified it. Look, they've put up some more fencing. Like, why? What are you doing, Disney? I need to know. They've added more fence. To what purpose? If you can't go in there, nobody can go in there. There's no use for this trail. It goes nowhere. Where that concrete is right there, that's the end. It's dirt after that. And there's two posts going that direction. I just don't get it. And what's going on over here too? I talked about this a week ago with raised berets, the briar patch. The grass here is not growing. Something is wrong with the turf on the roof of raised berets. So that's Tiana's next door. Check this out. This is hilarious. Walls up. Walls up at Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond gift shop. Although it's not, well, I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad. It's not, they're not doing anything to the actual shop. The shop is going to stay just the way it is. They're not updating anything on the exterior, and they're not updating the interiors. But they are having issues with the drainage, water drainage. The water's not draining the way that they had expected. And I don't know if you can feel it when you're out here, but there's a grade. There's a downward grade coming this direction here. But I mean, which would seem pretty clear that it should be going, you know, like in that direction, right? But I don't know, water's collecting somewhere. It's not draining correctly, so they got to fix that, probably with, you know, new concrete or something like that. But that's why these walls are up right now. Something we'll mention in the construction report coming up on Monday, next Monday, is that I kind of saw this coming. I was given a heads up on this a while back. This was planned before they even opened. I was told they're going to open it and they're going to, well, they said they were going to close it, but it looks like they're going to be able to keep it open. But they got, you know, but they have to take care of that. It's interesting because we've had the same issue with water drainage at Toontown. You know, the fountain, they had to redo the fountain because the water wasn't draining the way they thought it would. And I want to say in Grand California at the Storytellers Cafe in that area, they've had water drainage issues there as well. And there's another, I think the bathrooms, although that was different, that was a burst pipe. But it's something that's just been going around the park for whatever reason. As for Haunted Mansion itself, that's a busy looking queue again. They're just like Tiana's. It's maintaining its effervescent quality. People are definitely into Haunted Mansion, original Haunted Mansion, and that makes me very happy as well. I love to see this attraction getting the respect that it's getting, and the demand that it's seeing for an attraction that is not at all modern. You know what I'm saying? Like, not the least bit modern. Standby right now is posted at 60 minutes, and it looks to be probably that. I found myself now struggling with the adjustment once more with the direction we're going. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. We're heading to Pirates next, and are we gonna end with Jungle Cruise? Is that, or no? Oh no, Mark Twain. I feel like, you know what? Let's go to Mark Twain. I want to see what the scene looks like now, because we never get to. That was one of my barometers. I used to always measure crowd density by how New Orleans Square looked from the Mark Twain while I rode, and certainly when we were coming before, it wouldn't look very busy. But this scene I'm in right now is going to look quite a bit different when we get on that Mark Twain. Let's find out. Actually, before we do that, we're going to have some time. The Mark Twain is still doing this little Mississippi drift around the rivers of America. We'll check in on Big Thunder, which has a posted wait time, shockingly, of 40 minutes. I'm saying shockingly because it's really bonkers here right now. I'm actually feeling quite a bit of pressure as I walk through here. But it's posted at 40 minutes. The queue is just one switchback coming back, and then maybe a half of one on the way out. Although I do see it looks like they may have, they're using part of it out there, and then yeah, that's probably a 15-minute section back there. Posted 40. That's optimistic, I think. There's standby there. Not a lot of. I don't see Lightning Lane. There's a few Lightning Lane guests. Nothing backed up. They're not really moving those. Or standby isn't. Oh, that's. Oh, here we go. Here's a healthy chunk of Lightning Lane coming in there. Figured while I was here, I would just give a visual on the water. I wasn't expecting to shoot the water. I wasn't planning on talking about it in this video, but while we're here, I noticed something. They haven't cleaned the water. It's been since Friday, and the same trash that I saw there on Friday is in the water here. That cup and that wrapper. Oh, I don't like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Mark Twain River. We begin our trip right here.
See, if I were looking at old footage, trying to find a busy day, I would have picked this scene. It's not bonkers. It's not the busiest thing I've ever seen, but this is an example of a crowded afternoon, in my opinion. Actually, that looks a lot less busy than what I found it when we were walking through there. We had a hard time getting through there, but it's looking okay now. Posted wait time, by the way, on Pirates is 30 minutes. We could do our recon right here. There's nobody on the bridge. They're going up, and then they're making a U-turn and coming right back down. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now we can enjoy the rest of New Orleans Square. Yeah, it looks kind of peaceful out there almost. Look, that's not so bad at all right there. Haunted Mansion. That can be a bottleneck right there. I'll tell you what though, it's packed on Mark Twain. I was trying to get to the rear of the boat and I couldn't, man. It's full, rail to rail. And I think both decks, yeah, it's pretty busy down there too. We'll check on that in a minute.
From here,
but the Mark Twain is capped.
Quite a splash.
A little less so here on the second floor. The third floor is like where all the action is, isn't it? But still, difficult to find a spot on the rail.
As we head into the remote areas of the rivers of America, as we head up the Missouri River to the home of the Plains Indians.
People often ask if you could spend one night anywhere in the park. Right there. I want to stay at Mike Fink's cabin. Put a little Airbnb in there. I'm good. I doubt that door even works, so.
Setting up their camp along the banks of the river. They'll be here for a few months and move on. At least that's what Tom's story about.
Engine room. Approach ready.
at that, and then they dropped it down to 20. We're off the boat, by the way. Came back to Pirates. Dropped it down to 20, and now there's nobody. You know what it is? This is why I'm not even gonna trip. The park is getting ready to close soon. It's gonna be closing in about, let's see, an hour and a half. It's a regular guess. I gotta get motored. That's why that is. So I shouldn't read too much into that. There's nothing we can learn today about crowds that's gonna be very useful in that regard. I have to remind myself sometimes, and that's an example of not everything means something. Or, you know, it's not, there's lots and lots of different, you know, levels in these things, and not all of it is like, oh my gosh, it's busy, oh my gosh, it's slow. There are many, many gray levels. This is a completely blown day as far as trying to, you know, infer anything about what's happening at Disneyland. So, Indiana Jones. They're gonna call it 40. That's the posted wait time. But I can already tell it's super chill. It's super chill out in front, you know, in the entrance. But oh my, okay, there's actually a crowd. There's actually a queue in this. Wow, they actually using it. Is this more than 40? Question mark. I mean, it is moving. That's a very brisk looking queue. You see all that movement? Let's get a little higher. Get up this hill a little bit. You'll see what I'm talking about. You can see almost the entirety of the queue is in some sort of state of motion, right? When I talk about movement, that's what I mean. If you see people just standing versus this, there's constant movement in most places you look. There are little pockets of people standing still. Hi guys. But for the most part, everything is moving. This is beautiful. These guys are gonna motor through that queue. So while it looks full, and it is full, it's moving. And so it's not gonna be an hour queue. That's gonna be a 30 or a 40-minute queue. Why? Do a little hi guys, do a little test for you guys. Why was that queue moving? Put your response in the comments below. Tell me, why was that queue moving while other queues are sticky and they're standing still? Why? I guess where we normally start with the Jungle Cruise, we are finishing. How about that? And it's another bargain. 20 minutes posted, but it's probably not even that. Looking at the top of that queue, hard to tell. I think maybe they're only using half the queue. I can only see two sections. Even if it's full, it's moving pretty briskly. That's not even 20 minutes from that point. Obviously, they're not using the top right section of the rear queue back there, and then the bottom queue is empty as well. There you go, man. That Jungle Cruise. That's one of my, if I'm not sure what I want to do, rides, Jungle Cruise. You got like Jungle Cruise, Mr. Toads, Casey Jr. FreshBaked. Hey, how are you? The train, the monorail, outstanding. And Main Street tells a story. We are done here. That's our State of Disneyland report, you guys. If you have a moment, please do consider joining our previous State of DCA report. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. FreshBaked.